Okay, so that should be working. So, so Jennifer will be on in just 1 second. She's walking her children to the bus stop, and so she'll have some other updates for everyone. But I just wanted to welcome everybody. Maybe just briefly, you could just say your name and where you're calling in from, because we have quite the international crowd today. And also, maybe just say whether or not you're a certified facilitator or a facilitator in training, because I think we have a lot of facilitators in training here. So maybe we'll start. I'm going to start with who I see, and maybe you can just mention where you're from and what kind of facilitator you are. So Sandy, why don't you start? You got to unmute. Can you unmute? So,
yeah, got it. Go. Sorry about that. Yeah. Good morning. My name is Sandy Anweiler, last name, and I'm from Port Alberni, BC on Vancouver Island, and I am a certified trainer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll open it up to people a little bit later about to update us on the courses that they're teaching right now. But for now, just say maybe who you are and where you're calling in from. So Kristen.
Hey, Kristen Norton here in Atlanta, and I am a facilitator in training.
Kristen, I didn't even know you were in Atlanta. That's crazy. Wow.
I can see you from here.
We're gonna have
now.
We're gonna have to get together. Okay. Vicky.
Hi, I'm Vicky. I'm in Austin, Texas, and I'm in the training.
Okay. Oyango. You're still muted.
Okay. So my name is Onyango. I'm a facilitator in training. My name is Onyango.
Yep.
I'm from Nairobi, East Africa. I'm a facilitator in training.
Thank you, Oyango. Anya?
Hi, I'm Anya, calling from Berlin in Germany, and I'm a certified facilitator.
Thank you. And Anya's working on the German language version of the program right now, so exciting stuff. Marilyn.
Good morning, I'm Marilyn. I live on Bainbridge Island. So Chana, I'm sharing your misery of being up at this hour, and I'm waiting for the facilitating number 2.
Yeah, Marilyn's going to be a level 2 facilitator. Judy. You got to unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay, I'm Judy, and I'm a certified facilitator, and I am from Chelmsford, Massachusetts.
Thank you. Nancy. You got to unmute.
Hi, good morning, Nancy Gales. I'm a certified, yay, facilitator. Yeah, I'm in Rockaway Beach, little peninsula right outside of New York City.
Wonderful. Pam, you want to go next? Remember to unmute yourself.
Hi, Pam Lewis. I'm in Houston, Texas, and am a facilitator, and starting week 7 of the first class I've done.
Fantastic. We'll want to hear about that in a little bit. Krupalini. You go.
Hello everyone. I'm Krupalini from India. I'm a facilitator in training.
Thank you, Krupalini. Cesar.
Hi. Hi. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cesar, and I'm from Culiacan, Sinaloa in Mexico.
Wonderful and welcome. Vin?
Hey.
Oh, there you are.
Hey, how's everybody?
Good.
Good. My name is Vin, and I'm actually from Toronto, and I'm doing the level 1 facilitator with CIT.
Fantastic. And then last but not least, I'm not sure who's on a 917 number, but maybe you could unmute and tell us who you are. Unless maybe you're driving and can't unmute. Well, when you get to a safe place, you can chime in and tell us who you are. Welcome, everyone. We don't normally have time to do all that, but I wanted to we had such an international crowd. I wanted to make sure everyone could see everyone from around the world. So let's see, and Lucy Plummer has just joined us from the UK. So anyway, welcome everybody. There's not a tremendous number of updates in terms of the course this month. We're still working very, very closely on this project that we talked about last month about working with UNESCO MGIEP to develop a self-directed version of the course. And so that's really still in its, we're undergoing that process of at this point kind of scoping out what that would look like, what all the little component pieces would be for that, because what we want to do is then develop a budget and an action plan for how we would actually go about developing it, and a schedule for how we would be releasing that. One of the things that we're going to be doing is, as we develop individual modules and even components of the modules, we're going to be turning it over to facilitators in training to test it, to go through it, to see whether or not it really lives up to the learning outcomes that we have for the course. And so you guys will be, number one, you'll be our first testers to make sure that it's in alignment with what we're trying to accomplish, since you guys are going to embody it more than anybody. And then secondly, we may be turning to some of you to look at helping us develop some of it. So we'll continually be sending out updates on that. And as we do these monthly updates as well, we'll talk about that with you guys. So that's still moving ahead, full speed ahead. So we're excited about that. The second update, as you'll notice, one of the reasons that we've got such an international group on this call is that we've launched our facilitator training for the folks that were at the World Youth Conference in Delhi. And so a lot of the folks that you see on the call are members of that group. And so we're really excited about bringing this to the world. Even though we've been, I think we have facilitators now in 9 different countries. This is going to bring that up to 14 or 15 very quickly. So we're really excited about that for obvious reasons, and just have a phenomenal group of facilitators in training that kicked off Lucy and Natalie and Shivjot, who I don't think is on the call. They kicked off our training this past week and just did a phenomenal job. And then we also have another facilitator course going at the same time with another group of great facilitators. So, and that one also has a very international flair with people from Sweden and Tasmania and other places. So just really excited about the way the program's growing. The last thing is, and then I can open it up for any questions, is that we, many of you guys know Shane O'Connor. And so Shane, who has been doing a lot of facilitating for us, he's been doing the online courses. He was also in India this past summer with Marilyn and Tom Flores doing the training for UNESCO. He's going to be coming on a part-time basis to be, in addition to doing the facilitating he's coming on starting this month to focus on our efforts in the area of education. So he's got a lot of experience working with teacher training programs and working with youth, and he's going to be bringing that experience to us to start looking at networks around the world that may be interested in using CIT to train K through 12 or primary to high school level educators. And so we're very excited about that, and you'll be hearing more from him in future calls and in emails and all that kind of stuff. So those are really the only updates I have at this point. Jennifer, did I miss anything?
I don't think you missed anything. I'm pretty sure, though, the 917 number is Lauren, and Lauren is also in the Atlanta area. She is a certified facilitator. She's currently working with 3 different organizations and facilitating multiple classes in the Atlanta area. So wanted to make sure that we knew who Lauren was too, that random number.
Hi,
Wonderful.
can you hear me?
Hey, Lauren.
Yes.
Hi, sorry. Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to unmute the mute from the phone, but now I figured it out because my Zoom link is not working online. But hi, everyone.
Hi, Lauren.
Hello. And for those who just joined, I gave the story of the Mac OS taking over my computer and deciding not to allow Zoom to work this morning. So I usually don't call in from my phone, but here I am. Good thing we have multiple options. So Jennifer, you want to roll? Are there any questions from anybody on any of that? And if not, we can roll into the rest of the agenda.
All right. Well, and I believe in giving you a full disclosure. This is our agenda. It's pretty short. I wanted to get updates from facilitators who are currently facilitating in the field. So if you're currently facilitating a course, we would love to hear what week you're in, where you are, how it's going. And if you've just finished, because I know we've got some folks that did kind of like a taste and did 4 sessions and are working on then getting another course scheduled. So if you've facilitated CIT at all in your community, we want to hear from you. And then the last 2 items on the agenda were shared wisdom from current facilitators for our new facilitators in training, because we've got a large number of them on the call. And of course, any questions from the facilitators in training. Because you've got a great resource and support network of folks that are currently certified, working in classes, or getting their courses organized to start in a couple of weeks. We've got a couple starting soon. I have to consult my technical Post-it note on my wall that has all of my courses. And we also have some courses that are starting that are already scheduled for 2020. So we want to hear from all of you. So I would love to get the courses that are being facilitated right now. So the updates from the field, from anybody who wants to share first. I can always call on you, but I would love for you to volunteer to give us an update. So
I'll volunteer.
Yes, Pam, and then Judy, I saw your hand up.
Okay. We're starting week 7 this week. And so last week was, of course, week 6. Gratitude, forgiveness and gratitude, and people just loved it. I don't know why I was kind of nervous about it for some reason, but it was just really, I think, the best so far. And people kept talking about how brilliant the activities were and all of these wonderful things. They loved the quote from the journal, and everything about it was really good. I'm enjoying this more than I ever dreamed I could. It's a wonderful group of 10 people, and I'm sure a few of them will want to be facilitators. So that's really all I can say at this point. There haven't been any real issues lately, so that's good.
That's a great update.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Pam. And Pam, so Pam and I were going back and forth with the emails, or with email, and the video that we used from TV Denmark. To this day, every single time I watch it, I get teary-eyed. And so Pam was sharing the same thing that she does as well. And so we thought we were like the norm. And she said nobody in her class got teary-eyed. And I'm like, wait, we are normal. This is okay. So.
And especially since it says on some link that you should hand out Kleenex, not through CIT, but I found it, on Google somewhere, and it said hand out Kleenex. And so I thought, oh, wow, this is really going to be no one even.
Nobody got teary-eyed, but that's okay.
No, they liked it, but they just.
I still think you and I are normal, Pam. And
me too. We're very normal.
Excellent. Thanks, Pam. Sure. Judy, we'd love to hear from you.
Is this okay? Do you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I did not get teary-eyed just mentioning over the video, but I did get goosebumps.
Okay.
I got goosebumps.
Okay.
I don't get teary-eyed easily, but goosebumps. So I'm starting my course tonight. Woo! Tonight's Skill 1 and the introduction. So I'm spending the rest of the day after I get off the call preparing for tonight. So I have maybe 8 people that I know of coming, and there might be others I don't know, because I said, if you didn't want to let me know, if you decide that night, just stop by. And I'm excited about the range of the different people in the groups. Oh, I volunteer with a group that helps recently incarcerated people re-enter the outside, community. And so 2 of the people are from that group. So that's kind of exciting to me. And there's another woman who's in recovery. So that's exciting to me to bring it into, maybe get some connections there. So I don't know, I'm just excited about the variety of people that are coming. And I'm a little nervous because it's tonight, and I think it should be fine. I don't see why it shouldn't, but still, no matter how easy something seems, I always manage to screw it up a little. So I'm just hoping that it's okay. And then what else? Oh, so yes, I have my course set up in March 12th for a Taste of Compassion at a retreat center in Massachusetts. That's a really beautiful setting. And they've done all the marketing for it. They made the brochures and they put it on their website, and that goes out to lots and lots of people. So that's great. And then yesterday, not yesterday, Saturday, I spent the day up in Concord, New Hampshire at the annual meeting for the New Hampshire Conference of the United Church of Christ. And I had one of the exhibit tables, and I exhibited CIT, and not that many people stopped by. Not that many people stopped by any of the tables. They were busy, schmoozing. But the people that did stop by were really excited about it and said, "I've been looking for something like this. I'm really interested." So there was that. And then in 2 weeks, I'll be down in Worcester, Massachusetts, doing the Mass Conference of the United Church of Christ.
Wow.
And that's really cool because they've just combined with Connecticut and Rhode Island. So there's going to be a really big group there. So I'm spreading the word.
That's excellent.
And I had a question. Marilyn said she's from Bainbridge Island. Where is that?
Washington.
Washington. Okay. I just was curious. I don't know where it is. Okay.
A couple things, Judy.
Yeah.
Number one, remember realistic expectations. I screw up at least a dozen times every time I facilitate, so don't be hard on yourself.
Okay.
It is what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
And then secondly, you mentioned the reentry. I think this is a program that hopefully over time is going to be used a lot for reentry. And actually at Phillips Men's Prison here, they're starting to use it in the reentry dorm where men are there who are going to be coming out, going to be released soon. And so they're going to be using CIT in that dorm. So that's, I'll be very interested to hear how it works out with those folks.
Yeah, I think my connection to this program that I volunteer with is pretty awesome. The person, one of the 2 that are doing this with me tonight, are taking the course. He is so filled with shame since he's re-entered that he's been hospitalized in a mental health facility 3 times in the last several months. And so I'm thinking that self-compassion piece is going to be really good for him.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Judy.
Good luck.
I think Nancy has her hand up. I don't know if you saw that.
Hey.
Okay, and
Hey,
then
Nancy.
Nancy and then Anya had hers raised too.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Okay, I just wanted to go over a couple of questions I had. With regard to online, I'm hoping to do, I'm doing compassionate healthcare and compassionate healthcare providers. So I wanted to give an online course like the one we took, using the Zoom rooms for the Trinity Health Hub, which is training homeopaths. And we're going to expand that out to other practitioners in the integrative field so that they all become conversant with what really is compassionate healthcare. We do have a few compassionate healthcare centers here in America that we're working with, and I want to bring the program in. So I'm trying to tighten it up and do the Zoom online. So number one, I want to make sure that's okay to do. And number 2, I went to look at the rooms because one of the presenters, she'll be able to, the Trinity Health Hub person will be able to do the rooms for me, but it looks like it's very cost prohibitive. Is it like $50 a room per person per session or $500 a year or something? Is that right?
Yeah, no, I think probably the best thing for us to do, Nancy, would be to connect offline, because I think we can help you organize that and help you with the technology side of it, because we have subscriptions to those things that we can allocate time to you, and you don't have to go out and spend the additional money on that. So, and technically the facilitator agreement gives you the ability to train in person, not online, unless you've gone through a program with us where we kind of check you out and help train you doing it online, because it's a very different kind of challenge to do it online. So we can talk about that offline. We'll talk about online, offline, but we can definitely help you make it happen. So let's schedule a time to talk.
Be working with the healthcare centers. It's, herding cats would be a very small word for trying to get practitioners together for 10 hours, 10 sessions of 2.5 hours each. 0 will be happening. So that is what I want to try to work out, and so that we can expand the program to really start to see true compassionate healthcare practitioners who know what they're doing.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Shall I contact you offline?
Yeah, let's you and I talk offline, and then what we can do is we can update everyone on how that goes afterwards, because I think that's the timing challenge is something that a lot of people are going to deal with, need to deal with when reaching people who are, think they're very busy, and then also the online thing. So let's talk, and then we'll report back.
One of my questions, thank you. The other one is, in reading over, I went to Catholic school, so I have to get this really right. So in reading the agreement, I understand that there's 2 full sessions you have to do per year, 2 full facilitator things. So how does this work then if I do a taste of, does that qualify? I'm also finding that the educators, also the teachers, are really, they have no time to do the full 2 hours, 10 weeks. They won't do it. They just won't do it. So I'm trying to make it a little more palatable. So I'm wondering, how does that fit in? Can you do a taste? Is that still okay?
Yeah, so there's really 2 different issues that we're talking about. One is the number of courses that you have to complete in a year in order to stay current with your credentials. And then the other one is kind of how flexible can you be with the course. The reason that we're interested in making sure everyone teaches 2 courses per year is just so you stay fluent with the material, right? So obviously, like anything in life, if we're not actually using it, we're gonna forget it. So in that respect, we like people to be able to either do 2 full courses in a year, or just figure out a way for us to talk and make sure that you are staying current with the material, so that it's not something that kind of just goes away, and that when you do come around to trying to do another facilitation, that you've basically lost all the material. So that's kind of our standard, and then we can talk about, we're trying to be very flexible on that. In terms of how flexible you can be with the material itself, the answer is, very flexible. The key is trying to get it out there and making sure as many people are exposed to some of it as possible. So doing the taste of CIT, I think is really been effective for a lot of people. Also maybe scheduling it at different times of the year, where at one point in the year you're doing it for, you're just doing series 1, another time you do series 2, another time you come back a year later and do series 3. So there's a lot of ways to being flexible. The other thing is that, I've found, I know Lauren right now is doing a course at a school where she's doing it in 1-hour sessions, because of the fact that they're trying to schedule it around their staff meetings. So that she's had to figure out how to kind of winnow it down in that way. It's not ideal, but again, if it's an opportunity that they're either going to say, no, we don't want any of it, or we'll take an hour a week or an hour every couple of weeks, then I would do the hour every couple of weeks any day. So you can definitely be flexible.
Great, because I want to do the compassionate parenting also, and compassionate pregnancy. So I want to be able to, put that all together. Okay, now.
Yeah, Nancy, this is Lauren. If you want to connect offline, I'm happy to share Leanne and I have been working on the outlines for the 1 hour program. So I'm happy to go over that and brainstorm and work through that, because I'm also trying to do more with schools, and it seems like the 1 hour format is what everybody's looking for that I've spoken to. So it seems like there's a need for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I will do that. Just put your email up on that thing if you don't mind. Okay.
And also remember everyone to sign. I know it's not the best platform, but for now it's the only platform we have, which is the Facebook facilitator group. We have a private group on Facebook. So that's another way to be able to connect with people between these.
Okay, I have one more question, I think. So
like that, so that's great.
When I do these courses, how do they have to get a password? Do they download the materials from the site and I give them a password, or how does that work?
So the standard way of doing the course, which would be doing it in person, they don't need any password or anything. All you would do is you would register the course on our site through the new course submission form, and then you would give them the consent forms and send those back to Jennifer, and then you would just point them to the website, right? Because on the website where it says download course materials, not under the facilitator section, but just under the course materials section, none of that is password protected. So they can access the manual, they can access the recordings of the podcasts and of the practices, all of that. So you don't have to worry about giving them a password at all. Again, if we're talking about doing something online, that's a different story. And they can still, those people who do it online can still access it that way. But if there's something else that we want to work out, we can do that, but we'll talk about that offline.
Okay, I think that's it. Okay, I think that's it for now. Thank you so much.
All right, I know Anya had her hand up. So Anya, what's going on in Germany?
Hi. Oh, a lot. No, but generally, I more or less spontaneously decided to launch a pilot workshop in November at this very community-based place. The idea is on donation basis, and everybody can come if they want to. Marketing is an issue, I realized. I just saw the Facebook page, and it really is not really accessible, and we are working on that to cut it short. And the next really more established workshop would be via the German Association for Positive Psychology, and this will be in February. I'm very fond of the 10 weeks course actually for myself, but both formats will be different. The November one will be for 1 month, so it will be more intensive as 10 weeks anyway, but I had to adapt to the possibilities. They are closing on January and December because they are expats and they like to escape the horrible Berlin winter. So I'm just using this space whenever it is possible. And in February, I did a workshop already for the German Association for Positive Psychology, and there they actually said they are very interested in CIT, but since they are all over Germany and even Switzerland and Austria, they want me to do a 3-day intensive course, which is nice, but I think the time in between to get everything a little bit more settled is not given. Anyway, so these are my projects. I see that I have to learn a lot about marketing, I guess, and this is not my strength, I suppose. Another thing which is really important for me now to get the German manual somehow launched there. I'm not sure. I think the marketing department will need my help still in translating the graphics, but I don't know. I'm still waiting for the reply here. But without the manual, it's going to be difficult to have the course really. So far, I only have 2 participants, by the way, and they both do speak English. So, but I hope, since I'm going to do some more marketing myself, to get some more participants. And then the manual would be one thing, as you mentioned, Michael. I'm about to translate the whole program. I finished now to translate all the exercises as well. I think this is the biggest bit I did right now. Constant form, all the details I still I have to work on, but as far as the manual and the exercises are concerned, they now all exist in German. I didn't translate the whole facilitator book yet. And this leads me to the next question I would have, and I mentioned it in my emails, but I promised myself not to write so many emails to both of you, poor you, and try to discuss it more in the forum. Since the group of people who are going to attend the workshop via the German Association for Positive Psychology are mostly psychologists and coaches and people from the economy, they already signaled me they want to be a certified facilitator themselves at a certain stage. So, and of course, I told them all about the online programs. Two actually said they want to go to Atlanta right now. I'm not sure if they're coming. But anyway, sooner or later, I guess we would need the German-speaking version for the level 2 training as well. I'm not a level 2 trainer, I know, and there are a lot of things we have to approach here, but this is one of the things I have in the back of my mind. So I think this is all I
Anya, can I respond to a couple things? The first is, I know marketing is working on laying out the German version. And so I'm going to get you an update on that and where we stand on that. The second thing is, and I was going to call her out a little bit later, but you know, Marilyn is Turkovich is on the phone with the Charter for Compassion, and one of the things I want to make, this is for everybody who's on the call. We're going to be, you know, continually trying to deepen our partnership with the Charter for Compassion, and many of you are in places where there already is a vibrant community of people connected to the Charter. And so that's where it would be really helpful in terms of that marketing and building community would be, if you're not connected into the Charter, to make sure we get you plugged into that community, if that's something you're interested in. But the other thing is, and this is a conversation for a later time, but is if there isn't a real, if your city is not connected to the Charter or a signatory to the Charter for Compassion, it may be something that you want to do as part of the work that you're doing, is to help do that on a grassroots level. And Marilyn can talk much more about that than I can. But I think both ways, these are ways to build communities in your local communities in order to expand your reach with CIT and with the Charter.
Thank you so much. And I definitely plan that. I even put that down because Jennifer connected me to Anne a long time ago. And it's really more about having something in my hands to actually be able to reply to as well. I'm very open and very, I appreciate all the channels you mentioned right now. So far, I know that a lot of people are very interested. Every time I mention, and I meet a lot of multiplicators as well, they always say, oh, I want to hear about it. I think it's more who is spending the time again for the courses. And I think I'm going to go viral as soon as I know we have a manual online and I can refer to more German-speaking information. And then I really would love to go to schools as well. The school of my girls is actually prone to, it's very international and very diverse. So I think this is going to be very helpful if I have your backing in that respect, definitely. And yeah, I'm excited. Anyway, it's really great.
Anya, if you could give me your email address in the chat room. There is a Charter for Compassion person in Berlin. Her name is Maha Alusi, and so I can put you in touch with her. And she's really in the business community primarily, but I think she's really good in marketing. She used to have her own company there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Actually,
And that's-
just for the reference, Anya, Maha is currently in one of our courses that's running right now. So she's currently doing CIT as well. So she'll have an understanding, obviously, of the material. So she'll know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot.
And then the last thing I'll mention is I'm going to, today or tomorrow, I'll start a discussion in the Facebook group, because what we want, although not always the most responsive, what we're trying to do is hear from you all about what kinds of resources you need. I know we're in the queue to create a short marketing video about CIT, other kinds of collateral pieces. I am definitely not a marketing person, so we need to use our collective consciousness and group wisdom to come up with ideas for how to support each other in terms of bringing this program out there. So, are there any, Jennifer, are we still trying to get updates from the field?
If Lauren has the ability to give us an update on her courses, that would be awesome. If not, then we'll move on. But if she can, that'd be great. You just muted yourself, Lauren. There you go.
Oh, hello. Okay. I'm glad I wasn't talking before when I was unmuted that whole time.
That would have been embarrassing.
Yes, that would have been. Everything is going well with the courses. One has been on a 4-week hiatus because it's with the Jewish Federation. So that actually worked out well because we finished the first series, self-compassion, and then we had a 4-week break, and now we'll get into relating to others, and then coincidentally have a break and then do engaging in systems. So it's kind of interesting to see how that, will work with those natural breaks in there. The other one that we're doing weekly with the administrators at a school is going well. It's been a little bit of a dance because a group of facilitators has been sort of tag teaming. So they have not gotten consistency with the facilitators. However, they're a wonderful group, and I think it's going, really well with them, even though it's a small group. It's 5 people. We're sort of having to sit in a little bit of silence as we wait for one of the 5 to speak up. And then the other one is the monthly one that Michael mentioned with the teachers. So that one also, it's a really large group. It's like 25 or 30 teachers, and it's monthly for 1 hour. We've done 2 of them so far. The next one, the third one, is going to be next week. So, as Michael said, it's not the ideal situation, but I think people are getting things from there. And I have an appointment to meet with their head counselor, who sort of arranged this, to talk through what we can do in the material to make it more actionable for the teachers, maybe just even in the examples that we're using, or helping to take the next step and, brainstorm some strategies for how to bring it into the classroom, because that's really what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Lauren.
Yeah, and I also have a little, it's not, I guess it could be considered a taste of, but I just confirmed that I'm going to be doing a little talk on gratitude as a pre-holiday. That was my marketing push. So I'm doing it the week before Thanksgiving at a Decatur Healing Arts, which is sort of like I don't know how to describe it, a center here in Atlanta. And so I'm going to be doing a 1 hour or 90-minute talk using like the materials on gratitude and forgiveness.
That's a great idea.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
And just for the record, we also have 2 courses currently operating. Margarita is not able to be with us today, but we have 2 courses that are being offered in Portugal right now. They're 2 different, they started in like 3 or 4 different week increments. So they're running almost simultaneously. They're not on the same week of material, but Margarita is doing those 2 courses. We had one that is finishing up in California, Fraser Park. One of our facilitators is finishing up a small course there. And we have one that just started in Washington at Peninsula College. One of our other facilitators is running a class there as well. So, and then there's a couple of new courses that I don't even have on my handy dandy post-it note yet that are coming up. So there are things happening out there in the CIT community. So we want to be able to make sure that you all are connecting with each other and connecting to share materials and resources. And so, as Michael said, if you haven't already, joined us on Facebook. And for those, okay, I'm calling myself out. I am not a social media person. Michael knows this. He lets me work with him anyway. Although I have been getting much better. I am getting much better at being able to, I'm going to post something soon. Actually, I did share a link. I did share a link like 2 weeks ago or a week or two ago or something like that. And I was just like, woohoo, I figured out how to do it. So for those of you, I'm looking and smiling at all of my younger facilitators, like all of you who are like, hello, like this is second nature. It's like, and it's a choice. It's a conscious choice not to be active in social media. So yeah, I'll call myself out on it, but I am getting better. So for all my youngins, if I ever call you or text you or email you and go, okay, Kripalini, Lucy, I need help. Don't panic. It's just smile and nod. It's what my daughters do. Okay, facilitators in train. This is kind of a joint conversation, but I realized that I forgot to share one of my my agenda points. So before we do that, I am working on, because I think this is a big one. I am working on an outline for all of our facilitators, what we would like to be able to do for our students who have taken CIT before and who don't have a community that does ongoing information or the opportunity to engage in the material. And maybe these folks chose not to go through facilitator training for whatever reason. They don't want to be facilitators, but they really just want to engage in the material a little bit more. Starting in January, fingers crossed, I will have it all done by then. Starting in January, what we would like to do is have monthly calls via Zoom so that CIT alumni can gather once a month to have conversations and to engage more deeply with the material. And we will start with skill 1 and we will spend a whole year. So skill 1 would be in January, skill 2 would be in February. And at the end of each series, we'll have just kind of a recap. So let's talk about series 1. Let's talk about cultivating yourself. How are we doing with all of that? And so the format will be similar for every facilitator, because what I'm doing obviously is looking for volunteers, because we want you to do it in your own time zone so that it's convenient to all of you and the people who might be in your time zone. So I'm going to be looking, and I'm smiling because she happens to be dead center on my screen. Kripalini, when she is a certified facilitator, I want her to be able to run one in India so that it's convenient for the folks who are in India. I want Sandy to be on Maryland to run one that's convenient for our Pacific Coast time, not at 5 o'clock in the morning. I want, and it's not as big a deal, but I want Pam, somebody to run a central time. And all over the world, we have people in Europe. So it's not convenient for us. I mean, everything is done on Eastern time because that's where I operate from, but that's not convenient to the rest of the world. So I want our folks in Australia to have a course that works for them. So I'm going to be putting out a call for volunteers because it will be a commitment. I mean, obviously if I have multiple people in that time zone and you want to rotate, I'll do the first 2 months, you do the next 2 months, but I would like some consistency. We really do want to be able to engage folks in CIT, in the material, at their own convenience and with folks that are, engaged with the material and can have those conversations with them. So the format will be pretty similar for every month. It's like, okay, we start with, here's an update of what's going on in the Center for Compassion, Integrity, and Secular Ethics. This is information that might be going on in our time. So I'm going to pick on Sandy. So Sandy's like, I have a course running and this is what we're doing in the Pacific Northwest, and this is what we're doing in Canada, and this is what we're doing here. So then you've got updates for your own area, because obviously we want you to be doing stuff in your own area. You'll engage with material. We'll do a practice together. And then of course, any questions at the end. So it'll be a very similar format. We'll have everything outlined for you. So you're just going to follow your format. You know, here's your, if you're good with following a recipe, here's your recipe. And then of course I have some friends and colleagues who are not good with recipes. So, you know, that could be an interesting group. But that's really what we want. We want you to be able to do that. And that'll be an opportunity. It wouldn't necessarily be an opportunity to run a full course, but you're certainly engaging in your material and you're sharing it with other people. So that's where I am now. I'm looking for obviously input from all of you, because it's going to be all of you who are facilitating. And of course, just making sure that I've got a concrete outline and agenda that makes sense to all of you, and then the volunteers to facilitate in those areas. So start thinking about it, because you're going to start getting emails from me within the next 2 weeks or so that say, hey, I'm looking for volunteers to do this, this, and this. And I am also not a marketer, but I will put it in Facebook. I will put it in via email. And those are my only two right now ways of getting in touch with all of you. Sandy, I see a hand up.
Unmuting.
Yes, thanks.
Hi, Jennifer.
How are you?
Hi, good. How's it going?
Excellent.
I'm going to this Peace Circle training, and it's a perfect opportunity for marketing, I think, because it deals with RJ issues, and there's a lot of different areas that are being presented. And other than the brochure, I was wanting to be able to do a short, compact little presentation. I've taken the brochure, I want to put it on the table, and all of that kind of thing, but a small presentation that goes exactly with the brochure, other than my own words, other than, you know, presenting the material that's on the brochure. Do you have any other suggestions as far as marketing is concerned? And also, I'm concerned that as soon as it goes out there, because it's such a great program, that it's going to explode into something. And so I'm wanting to, how do you manage the amount of reception that you might get for it? Hope these two questions go together.
Well,
my optimism is showing, Jennifer.
And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm certainly not going to argue optimism. So when you say a presentation, do you mean a physical presentation or something to put on the table?
Well, I know that the brochure for the table, no, but a short, compact verbal presentation. You just use the guidelines for the brochure. Is that what you're thinking as far as taste is concerned? I know that Michael always said you have to have that entrepreneurial spirit in order to sell the course. So I'm kind of thinking in those terms. How do I do this in a short, quick, robust, selling kind of way without, quote, selling?
So
yeah.
just, I'll jump in here briefly.
Yay, Michael! Yeah.
If you go on the site for the where we keep the presentations, and if I had my computer running, I would actually show you this. But there's a short presentation called CIT Overview, and that's a PowerPoint presentation that basically mirrors in a lot of ways the brochure. It talks about the 3 levels and the 3 domains.
Yeah.
And it also, I just updated it with some really cool images of the kind of our global reach we have in terms of facilitators and participants and all that kind of stuff. So I would check that out first and see if that's what you're kind of looking for.
Okay, thanks, Michael.
And if that's not what you're looking for, just shoot me an email and we'll come up with something different.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And what was your second question?
The second question was, how do we deal with the numbers, which I enjoy your optimism as well. But that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons that we're working on this self-directed learning program that we can do, that we're working on with UNESCO right now, because those components will help us deal with the hopefully large number of people, and we'll be there to support you guys as well.
Okay. And may I have one more question, Michael?
Yes.
That's around schools. What I'm finding is that I've been doing a bit of networking around the school system and things like that, and I'm finding a bit of resistance as far as the teachers are concerned. The teachers are wanting to keep kind of the control, I guess is the only word I could use at this point, of the CIT in and of itself. So, but they don't want to necessarily take the CIT, but I'm finding that a bit difficult. I don't know if I'm being clear enough for you
Yeah, I
about
don't
this.
know what you mean by they want to control the CIT.
Well, they want to be able to be the ones only that are teaching CIT. They don't want an external person coming into the school to give CIT to the students.
Oh, okay. But to the students. So, well, that, I mean, but that's fine. I think if you wanted to, you could do a course for them.
Okay.
And then if one of them would like to become a facilitator, then they can become a facilitator, and then they can do that.
Okay.
Or they can take CIT and then they can do C-Learning through
Okay.
Emory, which is,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
very
I
similar,
know.
but designed for the kids.
Okay, good. Thanks, Michael.
Sure.
I think if you wouldn't mind, I'll just come
Please,
in
Marilyn.
here. Yeah, I would say to the teachers that one of the things that they could do is to go right away into C-Learning and put in those hours for them to get a certificate. That doesn't mean that they have all of the material that they need personally in order to teach the material. So that's kind of the bridge into CIT.
Okay. Thanks, Marilyn.
Mm-hmm. And it takes about, if they really do it well, takes them about 5 hours of work to get through all of those 7 modules, I think.
Marilyn, do they have it for parents or is it only
No.
for teachers?
They don't have it specifically for parents, but that is a request. And there's also the request of really trying to put together a facilitator's manual that wouldn't be too complicated, but all of that is in the making.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Marilyn, is this the C-Learning, the Emory one?
Yes, it is. Uh-huh.
Krupalini, I saw the hand go up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just talking to Lucy. In fact, I was writing to her separately. Jennifer and Michael, we are forming the Global Youth Alliance for Kindness, and Lucy and Natalie are the subject matter experts of social media. So we don't know how much we can help, but if there's anything that we could do to share what we know with the community here, we can have a separate talk where Lucy and Natalie probably will, lead the call and probably tell the know-abouts. That's also possible. Or Lucy will have wonderful other ideas through which we can do something.
Thank you so much. That would be wonderful. We will definitely follow up.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm
Any
ready.
FIT questions? Is that what the next thing is?
Yeah, I was just I'm writing all of my notes of things I have to do when the call is over, but do we have any questions from the facilitators in training? Wait, sorry, Anya had her hand up. And then do we have any questions from facilitators in training that, that our facilitators might be able to answer for you? So Anya, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Even though my question is leading in a completely different direction, and I'm very happy if you want to postpone it. My question would be if any of you actually experienced limits of CIT if it comes to psychologically or severe psychological problems. I was asked to write an article in a psychological report about CIT, which is going to be published in November. And in that context, I had a discussion with a friend of mine who is a clinical psychologist. And obviously, mentioning NICAN or gratitude, Pamela just mentioned it at the beginning of the CIT call. A lot of exercises are actually triggering things, and they can be more or less severe. But I'm not sure if any of you experienced things like that, and if yes, was it possible to actually compensate while being in a group?
Yeah, so I think that's a good question to ask, and it's a good one for the FITs to hear as well. So it's a good segue. It's number one, one of the reasons that we require everyone to sign a consent form is not to cover our behinds, but it's to make sure that they understand that this is a program that's not designed to replace psychotherapy or some sort of other mental health intervention, right? And that's the other reason that in Skill 1, we focus on this being a resiliency-informed course, not a trauma-informed course or a traditional course. We just want to make sure that people understand when they're self-selecting in the program that this program is not going to replace those kinds of issues, those kinds of therapies for those kinds of issues. As facilitators, that's why we spend some time in the facilitator guide talking about keeping track of people and making sure that if they're triggered, then to bring them into some of the resiliency-based skills such as tracking, resourcing, grounding, the help now strategies that we talk about in the guide, just to help bring them back into their resilient zone, and then perhaps counseling them out of this program if they need something a little bit more focused. One of the other things is that the program is designed, some programs are designed to hit you right in the face and be like, we want you crying. We want you, diving into the deep end intense. And, we purposely stay away from that kind of thing, right? Because what we want to do is realize that growth happens in slow increments over long periods of time. Or at least the kind of growth that we are trying to focus on is the progress, not perfection kind of model. And one of our facilitators did a course she's in Medellin, Colombia, and she did a course, and while they were doing Nikon, several people started to cry, and she kind of took it down a little bit and helped them to move forward into the next part. And a couple of people came up to her afterward and said, "Oh, you really missed a great opportunity. People were crying, and it's not that there's not benefit in tears, and people will cry during CIT. But I explained to her, this is not like, that wasn't the moment to like go dig up all of the trauma that might have been related to, that might have been brought up by doing Nikon or something like that. We want to settle them back down, get them back into a resilient place, help them if they want to find other avenues of help with that particular issue, but really just recognize that that's not what CIT is about. CIT is about helping build on our strengths and move forward in that way. So it's a good question.
Thank you so much, and I think you helped me a lot. While I'm going to make sure, because I've got a client, and she's got a severe disturbance with her mom, and working for several years now in therapy on it. But she would be interested in CIT, and I think I'm going to have a talk individually with her in order to make sure that she's not expecting too much.
Correct.
I think the whole gratitude thing would be really of great help for her. Thank you anyway. Thanks a lot.
Great. Okay, I think we only have a few more minutes, but we do want to get to questions from FITs if there are any.
Go ahead, Sandy, real quick.
I know. I just wanted to add with that last piece that to have community resources on hand while this is going on is I think beneficial.
Yeah,
that's a great idea. Actually, in the community resiliency model training to become a certified facilitator in their program, you have to provide them with a local list of mental health resources. It's something that I've thought about adding to our training too, because I think it's, particularly if you're training in a local environment, it's good to have that on hand.
Can I ask, has anyone had any success with reaching out to businesses for the CIT training?
So I've had several conversations with several different businesses, and some that are interested and becoming interested. I have not personally focused a lot of attention there, just because we have so many other places that we're working in. Ultimately, it would be great if somebody did do that, and I've got some some things working in that area, but nothing significant at this point.
Thank you.
But others
Mike,
can chime in.
I was going to say, Michael, it might be a good idea to pilot something in the Atlanta area with businesses, because they have over 100 partners through the Compassionate Movement. And maybe that would be an ideal place. The second place is Louisville, Kentucky. They have 114 partners. So, you know, marketing to just those partners and their businesses. Probably, Vicki, you have something similar. You're on
So I'm going
mute.
to I'll talk to Leanne about that, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think we have too many businesses in Austin that are part of the Compassionate Austin, but I'll recheck that.
Yeah.
My concern is just that the 3 days is really intensive, and businesses.
We can talk about that offline too, because there's ways of doing that.
Okay, thank you.
I think Krupiniana has been trying to raise her hand and we haven't noticed.
Oh, who was that?
Krupalina.
Ah, Krupalini. Yes. Did you want to?
Yeah, it's nice.
I can't see anyone on this screen.
Yeah, no, it's nice to listen to everybody. But I was just wondering, what's the difference between a level 1 and a level 2 facilitator? What is it that you people do differently and all of that? Because I've been hearing those terminologies for some time now.
So a level 1 facilitator is somebody who, as you probably know, that level is somebody who gets trained, who can go out and teach courses to others. A level 2 is somebody who has the ability to run facilitator trainings. So you'll note on our call, in your course, Shane and Deepika are training to become level 2s. And so through that process, in addition to having to have taught at least 4 courses, you then mentor other facilitators in training and provide them with all the same kinds of feedback and guidance that Jennifer and I do during a normal training. And once you've demonstrated your ability to do that, then you can run your own facilitator trainings. We do a final review of all the materials before actually certifying them, but the level 2 can run them. And the goal is, and particularly in partnership with the charter, is to build up regional folks around the world who can run local trainings and build up communities of facilitators in local areas. So.
Yeah, Michael, just a follow-up question on that. Now, let's assume I train a certain set of people after I finished the facilitator training. Would they be getting a certificate from the Life University, like how we got it, or is it going to be something I would get? I would have to give it to them separately.
No, you submit to us at the end. So on the front end, you notify us that a course is going to happen. So there's a new course submission form for that. You then submit all of the consent forms to us and everything, and then you keep us up to date on how it's going. And then at the end, you'll submit to us a spreadsheet with the individuals and their names and stuff like that we can then produce the certificates and send them to you.
Sure. And the last question, Michael, is I heard from the beginning of the call, there was a lot of things that they were all following in terms of process and rules and, you know, stuff like that, the guidelines and everything. Where do I get details of all these guidelines, the do's and the don'ts, if there's anything of that kind?
So there's 2 different things you might be referring to. One is the level 1 facilitator agreement. So that I can send it to you, but when you signed the facilitator in training agreement, that agreement, there was a link in there to the facilitator. We didn't want you to sign that until you had the opportunity to look at the other. And so there was a link in that, which you might have missed, which is fine. And we can send that to you. The other thing you may be referring to is the facilitator manual, which has, pages and pages of guidelines and suggestions.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Jennifer, anything else we want to cover before we sign off for this month?
No, I thank you all for your time, and I look forward to our next conversation. Like I said, for those of you who are interested, and it'll probably just go to all of the facilitators, but if I have FITs who are interested in maybe being one of those monthly facilitators for your area, please let me know so that I can make sure I get you all of the information as well. But I'm really excited about that, because that allows us to engage with folks who are CIT alums, but don't really have a community yet to be able to engage in. So I'm really excited about that concept. So really excited to get you all on board with that. And especially if you're going through facilitator training now, we can hopefully get you through the whole process so that you can start that in January. So we've got time. We can get you certified. So I look forward to seeing you all, well, some of you seeing you all tomorrow or Wednesday, and then for the rest of you, seeing you next month. And hearing, of course, how things are going in your courses. Judy, I can't wait to get an update. Hopefully you'll be able to send one tomorrow after your course tonight, so that we can get some, how did week 1 go kind of thing. So, all right.
It's great seeing everybody. We will talk to you next month, or tomorrow or Wednesday.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Marilyn, I'll see you tomorrow. Today. I'll see you
Today.
later.
Yeah, later today. Right.
Bye.
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 Bye.